You know what delicious irony would look like if Feminist Frequency were to get sued or to lose its 501c3 status for being sexist? But let's start with the definition of sexism from the US Equal Opportunities Commission. Sex discrimination involves treating someone, an applicant or employee, unfavorably because of that person's sex. Now let's take a look at Anita Sarkeesian, Feminist Frequency's latest video.
That's why we're going to make this a series not just about women, but one that is directed, written, produced, and filmed by women. Even our crowdfunding platform is founded and operated by a woman.
Again, it is generally illegal to discriminate on the basis of age, sex, religion, national origin, race or color, disability or genetic status. Common forms of harassment include disproportionately hiring members of one group,
but one that is directed, written, produced, and filmed by women. Even our crowdfunding platform is founded and operated by a woman.
Creating a hostile work environment or applying different standards to cover groups. I mean, even if they take the feminist definition of discrimination.
Furthermore, there have been charges made against me that I am racist and sexist to white men. I want to explain why this is false. I, an ethnic minority woman, cannot be racist or sexist towards white men because racism and sexism describe structures of privilege based on race and gender. And therefore women of colour and minority genders cannot be racist or sexist.
Again, she is in the position of power and she is discriminating. Either way, it's brazen, open sexism in clear defiance of the sexual discrimination laws. I mean, if she were to boast about how her company hires only men, it would be difficult to think that people, even feminists, wouldn't see that as outrageously sexist. And if men and women are going to be treated equally, why shouldn't this be taken just as seriously?
But one that is directed, written, produced, and filmed by women. Even our crowdfunding platform is founded and operated by a woman.
And yeah, 501c3 charitable organizations are generally not allowed to discriminate based on sex. However, something tells me that they didn't quite go through a rigorous and open applications process here.
Because we believe in hiring female talent, not just showcasing it.
Really? That's what you're going to go with? You believe in hiring female talent? You know, it's gotta be female.
Because we believe in hiring female talent.
Me? I would have gone with hiring the best person for the job. But then again, that's because I'm not sexist. Which is why I wouldn't have ended up with a failed feminist games blogger, who also happens to have expertise in being a failed cartoon blogger as well, with an English degree as the talent for doing the historical research and writing the scripts.
And Ada Lovelace's doctor said her feminine mind was too weak and fragile to handle advanced math. She ignored him and wrote the world's first computer program.
I think my favorite script is Ada Lovelace, and that's partly because as I was researching her, you know, it's a controversial notion whether or not she created the first computer program, which is something that I discovered.
I mean, really, doesn't this woman just exude being a well-read expert on the subject, who I'm sure is going to justify the $40,000 per video asking price? But of course, she didn't have a penis, so she was immediately eligible and eminently qualified for the position. And this is the woman who feminists chose to give, so far, another $160,000 to make 5 videos about ordinary women who are remarkable. So here's 5 extraordinary examples to prove it, because that totally makes sense.
We believe that stories can help shift perceptions of what girls and women can do.
And pray tell, what stories would you like to tell young girls to shift the perception about what women and girls can do? I know, the pirate chief who would behead people on the spot for not obeying her orders, or whose policy on women taken captive was observed to be. Usually pirates made the most beautiful captives their concubines or wives. I mean, this is not a woman endorsing women being rated as sexual objects at all. The ones deemed unattractive were released and the remaining were ransomed.
The stories we tell about women too often reflect the limitations placed on them. rather than the world-changing things they've already achieved.
Pirates that raped the female captives were put to death. But if a pirate had consensual sex with one of the captives, the pirate was beheaded, and the woman, in an act of feminist solidarity, had cannonballs attached to her legs and was thrown over the side of the boat.
This ability to violate the bodily integrity of eroticized women for fun highlights two other insidious aspects of objectification, those being violability and disposability. Violability occurs when, as Nussbaum points out, the objectifier treats the object as lacking in boundary integrity, as something that it is permissible to break up, smash, break into.
Had cannonballs attached to her legs and was thrown over the side of the boat.
Please back this series at our crowdfunding page. With your help, we can change the story, and when we change our stories, we change the world.
And then after running a pirate fleet for a while, decided she wanted to retire and run a brothel. Selling women as sexual objects.
And then deliver them to a brothel or another pimp in return for a cut of their business. In these scenarios, instrumentality is heavily linked to the commodification of women. Since objects can be bought and sold, it follows that once women have been turned into objects, their bodies and sexuality can also be bought and sold.
Selling women as sexual objects, to be sexually objectified by men for cash. Yeah, Anita, that's right, that's the role model modern feminists need to be aspiring to. Or Lovelace, or more specifically, the Countess of Lovelace, who was by no means privileged or entitled by essentially being a princess. And of course, she used her white privilege to fight for the rights of women and minorities. No, she built up large gambling debts due to her successful gambling system, and then actually had to be financially rescued by a man.
We believe that stories can help shift perceptions of what girls and women can do.
But in the end, to her credit, she did actually do something of value with her life. Now that's an example first world feminists would have no interest in following. Because, they would actually have to achieve something, useful for mankind. No, we're first world feminists. Go Team Vagina.
But one that is directed, written, produced, and filmed by women. Even our crowdfunding platform is founded and operated by a woman.
Am I right? I could go on, but I think you get the point. Feminists have given her another $160,000 to do this. And yep, Anita had to squeeze really hard to get that far in a 30-day crowdfunder. She was flagging at about $40,000, which is still pretty bloody respectable, until 3 large donors put in about $65,000 between them. And in the meantime, if you want to know how desperate Anita was getting, she released as many videos in the last month to try and pump this up as she released in the first 2 years of the original Video Games vs. Women series, which had almost no effect whatsoever on her fundraising. But if feminists want to publicly burn their money like this, in public support of an act of shameless sexism, that's fine. I applaud your stupidity. Of course you have to have a vagina to understand feminist history. In the meantime, a project started by the Amazing Atheist and backed by at least Sargon of Akkad, myself, and I think Total Biscuit that I'm aware of, raised over $100,000 for women with real issues who are victims of sexism, not those who practice it.